For effective change to take place, your why has got to be greater than your obstacle. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to build it up. But first of all, why? Why should your why be greater than your obstacle? First of all, let me just put on my my chef's hat for a moment. And just imagine for a moment that you were going to be making a cake, or you were going to be making cookies. Everyone likes cookies. If you don't have flour, then your cookies are, or your cake are destined to fail. And if you only have a little, like if you do put some flour, but you don't put enough, then again, your cookies, your cake are destined to fail. People are not going to like it. And so that's just like your goals. If your why is lacking, if your reason for doing something is not strong enough, then your chances are going to be diminished. And that's why you need to make your why greater than your obstacles. And in this video, I'm going to show you how. But first of all, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you to another episode of Master the Mind. And in today's episode, we are talking about why you should make your why greater than your obstacle, and how you can create leverage so that you make your why greater than your obstacle. All right, and we are live, and let's get going. So today I'm going to be talking to you about foundations of change. I'll share with you my mountain of motivation and some power questions. But why is, okay, so first of all, if you've ever wanted to achieve something but haven't had results, like you've wanted to either change a habit, create a new habit, stop a habit, but you haven't had the results, this is key. Watching this video is going to help you. Even if you've also wanted somebody to take action, like you want someone to do something, you know that it's going to be good for them, but for some reason they don't want to, you experience resistance. And this is also going to show you and so you get a better understanding of that. If you are a slave to habits, some bad habits, whether it was smoking or whatever it is, and you've always wanted to change them and be in control of your habits, then understanding this is critical. All right. And Marika, great to see you. Great analogy. Thanks, Marika. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure to have you, Marika. I truly, truly appreciate you. All right. So now, before I tell you about this solution, I want to tell you a very quick story. You see, like a few years ago, I took my daughter to Warner Brothers in Abu Dhabi. I live in Abu Dhabi, and we have the Warner Brothers theme park in Abu Dhabi. All right. And I'm taking my daughter over there. And what happens is we're walking and I come up to this sort of T-junction and I get a phone call. And I just for a moment, I pick up the phone. I'm like, listen, can I call you a bit later, etc. I am at the theme park. I can't talk now. I put the phone down and I'm looking for Sarah, my daughter, and she is gone. She could have gone to my right, she could have gone to my left, or she could have gone straight ahead because I'm at the T-junction. Now, here's the crazy thing. I go to the right, I cannot find her. I go straight, I cannot find her. I go left, I cannot find her. Now, in theory, I have tried everything. But did I give up? Hell no. No. That's gonna. Oh, hell no. I couldn't. No chance. But then I try again. I try again, and I still don't give up. Then I start shouting at the top of my voice, Sarah, Sarah, Sarah. Do I care what people think? No. Do I give up after doing a few times? No. But in life, have I ever given up because I think I've tried something before? Yes, I have done. Have you? Did I care what people think at the time? I didn't at the time. But have I not done anything because what will people think? Yes, I have done. I've stopped myself in the past because what will people say? What will people think? In that moment, did I care what people thought? No. The thing is, my why was greater than the obstacles, right? My daughter was more important than all the obstacles. Did I have less time? Did I need to be somewhere? Look, all these things that usually get in our way, they evaporated. Nothing else mattered but achieving my goal. And this is why this is so important, because in that moment, and in today's video, I want to share with you the foundation to lasting change. And that is, you got to convert your should into a must. And I must now. In that moment when I had lost my daughter, I did not think, oh, you know what, I should find her, like it would be nice. It had to be done. Did I care that I had tried things multiple times without success? Did I say that I'd tried that before? Did I allow myself to have that excuse? Did I allow myself to have the excuse that I didn't have time, or what will people say, or anything like that? Nothing else mattered except finding my daughter. And so when your should becomes a must, then nothing can stand in your way, right? And so it's like a person that says, I really should quit smoking, or really should eat healthier. And then the doctor says, if you don't, you are going to die. Their should becomes a must, and they make a change. And so how do you do that? How do we make that happen? How can we actually just say, okay, that's nice to understand that, okay, my why should be high, but how do we actually make it happen? And so I want to share with you a couple of a couple of techniques that I like to use. The first one is called the mountain of motivation, and then I'm going to give you the power questions that come with, and they can be used together. But the mountain of motivation, let me just share why this mountain of motivation is such a powerful tool. There are mainly two reasons why we do anything, okay, in life. We want to avoid pain, or we want to gain pleasure. And even the bad habits that you have, we either want to avoid pain or we want to gain pleasure. What's the reason you do something is what's real to you in that moment is, let's say if someone's a smoker, what's real to them is the pleasure of the puff and, escaping the pain of the moment, versus somebody that doesn't smoke, and their reason is they want to avoid the pain of being sick and have the pleasure of having a healthy body. It's the same activity. And the reasons people will do it, pain and pleasure. Both people will do things for pain and pleasure. So to avoid pain or to gain pleasure. So if you want to do anything, then it's important that we realize this. So there are things that you want in your life, right? There are things that you want to achieve. There are goals that you have, and there are reasons that you want to have those goals. You want to gain the pleasure of achieving that goal, or avoid the pain of not having it, right? But at the same time, there are always obstacles in life. There are always obstacles in life. I mean, talk to anybody, and ask them to do something. People will tell you, oh, but I don't have time, or but I don't have this, or I don't have money, or I don't, I feel like I've tried it before. There are always obstacles that come up in every single path. It's resistance. If you drive on a road, the reason you can go forward, there's resistance. You just move despite it. But understanding that there are always obstacles that are going to come up. But the challenge is, are your obstacles bigger than your reasons? If your obstacles are bigger than your reasons, then what happens is all we can see is the obstacles, and we forget about the reasons that we want something, right? So for example, I give this example sometimes when I speak. If I went up to you and I just sort of gave, like took $20, for example, and I said, here's $20, would you take it? And someone would say yes. Okay, convert it into whatever currency you want to convert it into. But if you give someone, hey, would you take $20 if I gave it to you? Yes, the person would take $20. But then if I said, okay, now if I put this $20 into a building next door on the 50th floor, and the elevator's broken, and there's lots of broken glass, and like there's a couple of snakes in the stairwell, would you go and get it? No. What happened is there was a goal, there was something that you wanted, but as soon as I put obstacles, all you could see is the obstacles, you lose sight of the goals. So all of a sudden, I didn't want to do it. Right? So what are bigger, your obstacles or your goals? Now, what we can do is we can actually sit down and say, okay, take time to write out all the reasons that we want to do something. If you don't sit there and think about all the reasons that you want to do something, it's not something we naturally just come up with. So you could sit down and say, okay, why do I want this? And then you write down all the good things that will happen if you do it, all the bad things that you'll avoid if you don't do it, etc. And if you take out time to build out your reasons, then you can actually stack all your reasons. So you can actually take the time to build up your reasons and stack up the importance. And when we do that, then you will have a strong why. Because then no matter what happens, no matter how big your obstacles are, if your why is bigger, you'll never lose sight of your goal, and you'll keep going no matter what stands in the way. It's like, and I call it the mountain of motivation, because it's like a mountain. Hold on, it's like a mountain. If you imagine a mountain that rises up, and no matter where you are in the city, you can see the mountain from wherever you are, and you don't lose sight of it, no matter where you are. And it's, as long as you can see the mountain, you know which way to go. You can sort of navigate. You can go around different obstacles and keep your eye on the prize. If there's a car in the way, you just say, well, I can walk around this car. But you don't lose sight of that mountain. And that's what one of the keys for the mountain of motivation. You build up your reasons so high that no matter what stands in your way, you never lose sight of your goals. So Marek is saying it's always important. It's important to always remember our goal, no matter what obstacles we face. 100%. It's key. And if your reasons are strong enough, then you'll never lose sight. And by the way, sometimes it doesn't have to be a lot of reasons. Sometimes it's one big reason. Like, for example, when I went to the theme park and I lost my daughter, that was one big reason. Obviously, there's a number of other reasons that I wanted to find her. I wanted to avoid the embarrassment. There's smaller reasons, but there's one major reason. And sometimes there's not one major reason, but what we got to do. So, for example, in this over here, you can see there's one major reason that will motivate you beyond anything else. So understanding that your why has to be bigger than your reasons, than your obstacles. Your reasons have to be bigger than your obstacles, so that you can always keep sight of your goals. Otherwise, if your obstacles are bigger, then the first thing you're going to do is notice the obstacles, and you'll lose sight of your goal. So Rima, great to see you. Always a pleasure. Thanks for tuning in. So I learned this the hard way. Like I said, when I lost my daughter in public, I did stuff that I wouldn't normally do. I got over every excuse that I would normally give myself. Why? Because my reasons were high. Now, here's another way to build up your reasons. Okay. First, there's power questions. You can ask yourself, or if you're working with somebody, you can ask a number of questions that create leverage. If you are wanting to get someone to change, to transform, You gotta convert their should into a must now. Okay? Because so many of us, I should do this, I should do this. You know what? I'm gonna do this from tomorrow. I'm going to do that from tomorrow. I'm going to make this big decision from tomorrow. And what happens? Tomorrow never comes. And so we want to we got to convert this we should all over our lives. Let's convert it into a must, and I must do it now. And so one technique is using the mountain of motivation. This other technique is using power questions. So I'm going to share with you a number of power questions, some that I love to use. So let me share with you a few of my favorite power questions. Number one. So number one is, what has not changing cost you? If you're talking to somebody about change, if you're talking to somebody about, for example, quitting smoking. I work with people that want to quit smoking sometimes, or want to change a habit. And they what has not changing cost you? You ask people that question and you get them to spend time. And what are we doing? We're increasing the pain, right? Remember, people do things for one of two reasons: to avoid pain, to gain pleasure. So we got to make them aware of whatever pains that they already have. I'm not creating pain. It's their pain. We're just making it aware so that we convert the should into a must. Now, so what has not changing cost you? It's the first question. Number two. If you don't change, what will it cost you? So we're asking them, the first question was asking them about the past. What has it cost you in the past? Now, what will it cost you? If you don't change, what is it going to cost you? So that's the second question. Number three. And by not changing, who is it hurting? Right? Sometimes when I ask this question, someone will go, "Oh, by not changing, who is it hurting? Oh, it's hurting me. It's hurting me." And then I say, "Who else is it hurting?" Right? If I talk about someone to someone about smoking, and I say, "By not changing, who is it hurting?" And they say, "Well, it's hurting me." I say, "Who else is it hurting?" And they go, "My family. I don't have time to play with them. I don't have energy. I don't have this. I don't have that." And we just get more and more. Again, they become clearer and their desire to change goes up. And are we making people uncomfortable? A little bit, yes, by asking these questions, yes, but that's where transformation comes. When we are uncomfortable with a situation, we change it in order to become to get a new situation, right? So yes, and that's okay. You're doing it with intention of helping people. So we want to get clear on this. So by not changing, who's it hurting? That's number three. Number four. And number four is, what are you missing out on? By not changing, by not transforming, what are you missing out on? If again, I get with an example of a smoker, someone's like, "Well, I'm spending all this money on cigarettes, so I'm missing out on using that money to invest, or I'm missing out on using that time to do this, or by not being healthy, I'm missing out on blah blah blah." Being healthy enough to do a number of activities, whatever it is, you want to get people to be clear on what are they missing out on. Okay, again, we're ramping up some of the pain elements. So that's number four. Number five. After you ask a few questions, and there's a number more about relating to the pain, you want to ask either after all of them or after each question. You can ask this one: and how does that make you feel? Get them connected to the feeling, because you want people to be dissatisfied or understand the dissatisfaction with an element that they want to change, especially if it's powerful for them. So how does that make you feel? Right? How does not changing make you feel? How does knowing that it's cost you this much make you feel? And once they understand that, or once they answer, they will connect with the dissatisfaction of not having change. Again, we're turning their I should into a must. So that's number 5.
Number six.
What would you like instead? Okay. Now that you've got them dissatisfied with what they don't want, let's find out, what do they want instead? What do you want instead? Okay. They want to be, I want to be healthy. I want to be happy. I want to be, I want to be able to go out in social environments and not smoke, or whatever it is. But you want to know, what do they want instead? What would you like instead? So it's number 6.
And here's number 7.
How will you benefit? See, now we're building up the pleasure on the thing that they want. We have pain on the thing that they don't want and pleasure on the thing that they want. How are you going to benefit if you did this change? If you make this thing, if you actually finally take action, how are you going to benefit? And we're building up the power of this stack so that the goal becomes so high. This vision, the why, becomes so high. The why becomes greater than the obstacle. So how are you going to benefit? Just get them clear on it. Asking questions is the answer. That's number 7.
Number 8.
And number 8, who else will benefit? Just like we asked, like, who is this hurt? Now we're asking on the plus side, who else is it going to benefit? Who else is going to be happy that you've made this change? And who else are you going to serve by making this change? Again, and this is going to get people very clear on the pleasure side of things. So that's number 8. And
It's number 9.
Number 9 is, who will you become? If you've made this change, then we get them connected with the identity. Who are you going to become? Who is this person that you are going to be once you've made this change? I am going to be the best version of myself, or whatever it is. Who are you going to become? Get people connected to the pleasure, get people connected to the identity, and that can be super powerful. So that was number 9. And so those are the power questions. So today I've covered with you why we need to make your why greater than your obstacles. And I've shared with you not like a couple of stories in my life where I've had to make it happen, or it's naturally happened, and how I've overcome some of the simpler obstacles. And I've also shared with you the mountain of motivation technique, which is one of the techniques that I use in order to build up my why. And I've shared with you some of the power questions. So now for the phrase that pays. Convert your should to a must now, and you skyrocket changes even without a how. So even if you don't know how to do it, once your why is high, you figure out the how. So I want to thank you for tuning in to another episode of Master the Mind. I appreciate you all. If you have not, do subscribe, and I will see you on another episode real soon. Peace out, one love, and I will see you on another episode real soon. Bye for now.